question. How do you like to repurpose some stuff in your home or apartment? Let me know. But for now, I'll tell you a few little tricks up my own sleeve. Be right back. Later on, Steve will come on with a couple of his ideas too. Hi, this is Jan from New York City, and my channel name is Jan from New York City Saves Money. How's everybody doing today? And as always, I hope that my video finds all of you doing very well. Yeah. Talking today about repurposing. Stuff you already have at home. You don't have to buy it all over again. You can make something new out of it, or you could utilize it in a different fashion. And I came up with a few ideas, and I'll be right back. Before I forget, kindly subscribe to my channel if this sort of stuff interests you. Saving money always interests me, and that's mainly what this channel is all about. One way to save money is by utilizing and maximizing the stuff you already have, the stuff you already paid for, the stuff you already received. So let's get to it. You know, sometimes things are just right under your nose and you forget that you could do other things with it. I'll give you an example. You know those onion bags, the mesh kind? Or sometimes you could find other fruit like oranges or tangerines, for example. I've seen it that way too as well. Take that kind of bag, cut it to size over a regular sponge, and you could tie a knot to the top of it, and you just turn that sponge into a pot scrubbing sponge for free because you had everything already. That's one idea. Now, you know those paper towel rolls, the things that the paper towel is rolled around? Okay, very, very handy, very, very useful. Not only can you use those things for crafting or for decorating, you can use this, and I always do this. I take the paper towel roller, and you know those handy dandy plastic bags that sometimes you get at stores? Or any plastic bags for that matter. You take them and you stash it inside the tube. And if you want to label it, that's up to you. But I know already that that's what it's there for, so I don't bother to label it. But you can label it, certainly. You could keep a stack of those and have tons and tons of plastic bags, not gathering all over the place. That's for starts. And going back to the bread bags, now the other day, I did a video about garbage. I know, not the most pleasant topic, but don't overlook bread bags for this. Sometimes there's just stinky stuff. For example, like fruit peels or onion peels. Take those leftover bread bags, for example, for that use. Put those stinky peels inside of that bread bag. Tie a knot. And if you want, you can make it a loose knot so that you could easily untie it later. Stash that in the freezer until it's trash day. You're not going to stink up your garbage overnight. You don't want to do that. You don't want to stink it up. So you put it temporarily in the freezer. And then the next morning, for example, if that's how you discard your stuff in the morning time, take it down and put it there. And that's it. Soap scraps. Now, many times people say, oh, I have these soap scraps. What am I going to do with it? Oh, I don't bother with it. Oh, I just throw it. Don't do that. There's an easy trick with that. Actually, you can marry soap scraps. What do I mean by that? Well, they could get married. Take the existing soap scrap to, let's say, either another larger piece of soap scrap or a newer one, and just wet the smaller piece, and it acts like a little kind of glue, if you think about it. You put it together, and it lives together, and you don't waste money on those soap scraps. You know how much I enjoy coffee creamer, okay? Specifically the powdered one, but I do a couple of tricks with the bottles that they come in. They're kind of cute, those bottles with the flip top and the indentation. You know, the kind with the red top? Okay. Hey, I don't want to advertise. I'm not getting paid to advertise. Anyway, just saying. But you take that emptied coffee creamer and you repurpose that by putting in some non-fat dried powdered milk. You just turn that into a really cute available dispenser for your non-fat powdered dry milk. Say that quickly 20 times. But you could just pour that into your hot coffee as is. You have like a non-fat additive to your coffee, and it keeps your coffee hotter by not putting in cold liquids. If you like to keep your coffee hot for a longer time, just use that. You can also do this, and I've mentioned this on prior videos, okay? And when I get back, I'm going to tell you the additional trick. Thank you so much for sticking around. I really do appreciate everybody's time. Going back to that powdered creamer when it's empty, that bottle with the flip top, okay. You can make your own instant half and half. All you have to do is keep half of the of the powdered creamer, the existing one that was originally in the bottle, and add to it the non-fat dry powdered milk. Give it a good shake, just like that. You just made yourself a powdery version of half and half at a fraction of the cost. And you're not going to make your coffee cold so quickly. Really great repurpose idea. I do it all the time. Just saying, just saying. Of course I'm in my trusty notebook. Can't live without it. Now, I used to think my mom was a little crazy when she used to save those like sour cream type containers and stuff like that. But you know what she used to do? And it's a smart thing to do. What she used to do was, in case company came, and inevitably you just want to, give away some leftovers and, show some kindness. But many times she would be used to give away like the better storage containers, and they cost money. So instead of that, pack them up in those old sour cream containers, and you don't have to worry about getting it back. So that's for free. Just saying, just saying. Oh, when you get those Chinese food containers, the fancy ones, the plastic ones with the complete with the cover on top, please repurpose those. Use them in addition for really cool storage for your own stuff or stuff that you're giving away to someone else. Just wash them out real good, put them away, and use them. For real, for true. Old lampshades. What can you do with that? Well, if you're a crafter, need I say more? I mean, you could get very creative with an old lampshade. I'm not a crafter, but I do believe that they're purposeful for that reason. Tea bags. Now, number one, when it comes to tea bags, I don't just get one use out of it. I usually get, believe it or not, 2 uses out of it, and I've been known to get 3 uses out of it. That's because, well, number one, I don't care for very strong tea. So in my case, to go boop and toss it is totally wasteful and ridiculous. So in my case, I need to get a couple of uses out of it. But an additional use besides a couple of uses for drinking, what you do is you freeze those bags, and on those days when your eyes feel and look a little puffy and a little tired, take those frozen tea bags out of the freezer. Place them on your eyes, and voila, you've repurposed your tea bags. It's over there. And needless to say, any of those wonderful glass jars that you've emptied out, like jelly jars and stuff like that, they can be used for storing cookies. I have noticed in my life, for some reason, I don't know the reason, but if I store cookies in a glass container, for me, they taste better and last longer. I don't know. Has anybody out there noticed that? Right? Okay. So use them. Don't just toss them. And of course, vinegar. Okay? There are just so many uses of vinegar. I even included a video recently in a practical video show about that. So just don't only specifically use vinegar just for salad. You could wash your windows with it. You could clean your bathroom with it. I mean, if it's decent enough to put edibly in you, then it's, non-toxic if you think about it for cleaning. So that's a great repurpose. And one more thing I don't want to forget. You know those very large popcorn tins you get in the holiday season? I call that a party in a can. I love those. But I also use them the remainder of the year. For what? Storage. And in my opinion, you know when you buy those oddball bags of things at the grocery store, you can't really, they're not a box, they're like a sealed bag. Let's say like those instant mashed potato type bags. While they're great, they're kind of a nuisance to store neatly. Toss something like that into one of those popcorn tins. It looks neater, it stays nicer, it just works. So I have a question for you. What do you use around your house to repurpose? Let us know. And one more thing. I heard of someone that went to a Dollar Tree type store and they bought 2 metal mesh baskets, okay? They were pretty, they were kind of tall. And what that person did was they inverted both of them upside down, and she used a glue gun and sealed it together. And then she attached a pizza pan on top of it, a round pan. And she created a really cool looking end table. Hello. How much did that cost? Totally not much. There you go. If you have those things around the house, you could get very creative. So there. Well, I'm finished with my tips, but Steve has a couple of tips when it comes to utilizing food in different ways. So stick around.
Good evening, everybody. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about repurposing. There are several ways you can go about repurposing in the way that you do things. One of the ways that you can repurpose, let's say you go to a restaurant or maybe a fast food place and you have some sugar packets or mayonnaise, ketchup, any type of condiments, some extra packets. You can always take those with you and build up your own little stash, to have in your house. A little here, a little there, depending on where you go. Eventually you'll build up, a little bit of an amount, that'll save you some money in the long run whenever you go to the store. One other cooking tip that has to do with repurposing is when you cook a meatloaf, for example, instead of using breadcrumbs, I've come to find out that oatmeal works pretty good. When you use oatmeal, what tends to happen is oatmeal will expand, giving you a bigger amount of meatloaf than what you started with. So in actuality, it's actually a budget saver. It actually saves you money in the long run doing it that way. A little cooking tip I've also come to do as well is when it asks for some type of ketchup, I've come to find out that using my spaghetti sauce in the meat mixture really brings out the flavor. So if you want to try something different, that's a tip that I definitely encourage you guys to give a try. Also, this is an interesting one. Let's say when you go to brew coffee in the morning and you run out of coffee filters. Well, don't panic. Everything is fine. All you have to do is reach up, grab 1 or 2 paper towels, fold it over, stick it in your coffee basket, add your coffee, and brew as usual. It works very well. It's very effective. And it does in a pinch, whenever you want to brew coffee. That's one of the methods that I've come to try and do, and I still do to this day. So I thought I would go ahead and pass that along to you guys. So that's a few tips that works out, and definitely encourage you to try. Also, before I forget, there's one other tip. Whenever you do a recipe that calls for sour cream, you don't always necessarily have to use sour cream. You could also use yogurt in its place. Make sure it's like a plain yogurt. And it works wonders. It works just as well, just as effective. You don't really notice the difference. It may even actually make it taste better, once the recipe is done. That's another thing that I have come to learn and try and like, and I do to this day. Anyway, I hope some of these tips have been of help to you, and if you like what you see, definitely consider subscribing. And I want to thank you for allowing me to say what I had to say, and I'll catch you guys next time.